there are several things wrong with the 2019 film Strange But True. That being said, I, for the most part, actually kind of enjoyed it. And once you take away all of the things that went wrong, I think the atmosphere is pretty good, and that's why it works. The narrative could have been so much better, but it was very badly edited together, and the development of the narrative was just a bit ludicrous. But again, I liked it, so there must be something else in there that makes it quite engaging. And to be honest, I think a lot of it is because of the character of Charlene. She's very likeable. So I won't give any spoilers to begin with, but then I will need to give a few spoilers to kind of explain the things that I think went wrong, because most of them I'll need to go into a little bit of detail. But this was directed by Rowan Athale and written by Eric Garcia and John Searles, and stars a pretty great cast. Nick Robinson as Philip and Amy Ryan as Charlene. We have Greg Kinnear and Brian Cox. Really brilliant cast, and as I said, I really liked Charlene as a character. I particularly thought Amy Ryan was great at that role. And this is set... In fact, I'll read the description. I don't want to give you any more spoilers than the description for just now. And this says, a woman surprises the family of her deceased boyfriend by telling them she's pregnant with his child. Now, I thought that meant he'd been recently deceased, but he actually died 5 years ago. And she turns up on their doorstep, I think 39 weeks pregnant, I think it was, and said, no, hey, this is your son's child. And, you know, she's not asking for money, she's not looking for anything. She's actually a really humble, genuinely nice, likeable individual. And that is another reason why I think this works, is because she is likeable and you do want the best for her. So when things around her maybe aren't going perfectly, it's very easy to feel for her. But obviously not everybody in the family is willing to accept this. A lot of the film is trying to work out if that's even possible, and it's pretty interesting from that respect. But then it starts to take a different turn, and there's a little twist in it, and I will discuss the twist when I get into the more spoilery bit. So I didn't see that coming, the twist, and I thought that was pleasantly surprising. Maybe that's not the right phrase to use, but I didn't expect it, and that kind of made me happy. But then everything after that just rapidly went downhill. And I'd say the twist appears about maybe 2/3 of the way through. I'm not 100% sure. But certainly the last half an hour is just ridiculous. And this is where the spoilers come in. So, spoilers from now. The opening scene is actually... Well, I thought the opening scene was a flashback. But actually the opening scene is something that occurs within that last half an hour. And it serves no purpose. It serves absolutely no purpose as being the opening scene. It is... Spoilers, so I'm assuming you've either seen this or don't care about this film. But it's the scene where Philip is running through the forest or woods. And I just... Obviously, at the beginning, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was a bad thing. I had assumed that it was a flashback of how Charlene's boyfriend had died. So when I kind of realised that it was not the case, I just thought, well, that's just stupid. There was actually something that I quite liked. I went back and forth on this one, and I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. But when, obviously, it was revealed that it was Rohypnol and that she'd been repeatedly sexually abused, and that was potentially the father of the child, I kind of thought, yeah, alright, that's a twist I didn't see coming, and I thought it was pretty great, because I wasn't sure if this was going to go down like a sci-fi route, or if it was going to actually give us an explanation for this mystery child that had appeared after 5 years, and I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. So I thought, alright, we're actually getting some concrete information, and I'm glad that it wasn't quite open-ended. What I actually did like is probably the only bit that I liked after that twist was when the father of her boyfriend there were hints that he'd maybe slept with her, and of course he reveals that that wasn't the case. But just for a little moment, we weren't actually sure who the father of that baby was. And just for that split second, I thought that was, that was quite interesting. But after that, everything goes downhill. The fact that Gail dies breaks my heart. I thought she was a brilliant character, very well played by Blythe Danner. Really thoroughly enjoyed her performance. There was no need to kill her. And then when Bill just snaps and is about to kill Philip, and then literally everybody's life is on the line, it's just ridiculous. It's completely far-fetched, and there are so many coincidences. The fact that Philip just happens to be on crutches during the chase scene, and I don't know, I just feel like it was ludicrous. They were trying to do so many things with it that actually stripping it back and making it quite simple would have been a lot more effective and a lot more emotive. It just became quite insane and quite over the top, and little bits and pieces here and there are fine, but I feel like there was too much going on, and the only thing that I kind of feel might have been interesting was the fact that the truth was never really revealed to Charlene, and this means she gets to enjoy raising this child believing that it might just be her dead boyfriend from 5 years ago's baby. And I think, yeah, part of me thinks she needed to know the truth had to have been revealed, but the fact that she didn't know also has its benefits. So I kind of enjoyed that kind of last little moment there, and there was a beautiful scene once the baby was born. I kind of liked that a lot, but it was just so over the top. Everything that happened, from basically Gail falling down the stairs to, would you say she fell or was she pushed? I can't make up my mind, and I might need to go back and watch that in slow motion, but everything from that point until just before the baby was born, I just thought was pointless. It was so over the top, and maybe some of it would have been okay, but there were too many coincidences, too many character actions that didn't feel right. Bill was completely over the top with his reaction, and he just felt completely out of character. It just didn't work. But again, I kind of enjoyed some of it, so it can't be all that bad. I'd definitely say give it a go if it sounds interesting. I mean, I'm assuming if you haven't seen it, you've stopped listening to me, otherwise I've just spoiled pretty much the whole film. I do like the atmosphere. I did like the soundtrack. I liked the soundtrack a lot. There was nothing wrong with the camera angles, the atmosphere, costume, fine, no issues there at all. The sets, beautiful. I don't know how much of it was constructed, set, and on location, but either way, visually it was quite appealing. The only thing that let itself down was the final half hour of the narrative. Give it a go if you think you'll like it, and if I haven't already spoiled it for you, but it's definitely not as good as it could have been.